Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining another episode of Athletic Definition. Today, I am coming to you live from Sedona, Arizona. I started this mission 5 years ago. Um, First of all, let me tell you a little bit about Sedona. Sedona, I heard about it for the first time on, I believe, the History Channel or the Travel Channel. I was watching it, and they were talking about some energy lines, and there's only three places in the world. One of them was Machu Picchu. I cannot remember the third, and I'm sorry, the second, and the third was Sedona, Arizona. And since I live in California, I knew that that would be the easiest for me to reach. And I don't know, years went by. I started running marathons. And then one day I decided to look up to see if there's a marathon in Sedona. And I found one 5 years ago, and I signed up for it. And I came to Sedona, not knowing that that would be the last marathon that they actually have. This is my opinion, but I think that the course was a bit difficult, and it took people a long time to finish. And so, due to that, to make it more convenient, probably for the city and the organizers and the volunteers, they eliminated the full marathon. So, I'm very happy that I got to do the last marathon in Sedona. And then the next year, even though they didn't have the marathon, I still wanted to come because I fell in love with it. And actually, let me go backwards a little bit. Even though I knew they didn't have the marathon, I just loved it here so much because of the hiking, the views, and everything else, which I'll get into a little bit more. Um, I came back the same year to a city called Cottonwood. Cottonwood is right next to Sedona, and it's like the neighbor city. And they had a race, or they have a race. I signed up for it just so I could come back and one is run that race, get another marathon under my belt, which I did. And then that was my excuse to go back to Sedona. That was my one and only marathon that I came in third place. I actually placed in my age group, so I'm very happy about that. That's I can't remember his last name, but his first name is Brian. Oh, I think it's Brian Mickelson, and he was like a council member, if I recall right, who loved running. Ended up passing away, so they decided to make a race in honor of him. All right. So then, when I came here, I realized that the medal, I'll show you here, and then when I edit this, I'll show it a little different. But for the people who are watching in the audience and watch the replay, that is the medal. Okay, that is the 2018 medal. And if I let's see here, it's basically a triangle. And if you look at the 2019, it is another triangle. And so what they do is you're supposed to do it 4 years in a row. And then once you do it 4 years in a row, then it completes a giant medal. So here's 2018, 2019. And then let's fast forward a little bit to 2020. This was February. It's they just changed the Super Bowl for this year, but it was always like the first weekend of February, which is like the first, the second. And if you recall, at least in LA, in Los Angeles, in United States, we were still kind of denying what was going on, or we weren't all fully aware. So I came to Sedona, and I got to complete 2020 Sedona Half. And then, of course, we all know what happened. The pandemic started. And then because of that, they canceled 2021. I love the race. I wanted to support it. And I really, really dislike virtual races. However, Sedona had a virtual race, and I wanted to support them. And so I signed up for the virtual marathon. And even though it's discontinued, I figured I need a virtual marathon under my belt, even though I don't actually include it in the marathons completed. So I did complete virtual marathon Sedona. I don't count it towards my 55 marathons, so because virtual races, in my opinion, I don't high. They're more difficult because typically you're by yourself. You're doing everything on your own. You're preparing your nutrients, your hydration stations along the way. Some people do have friends to help them out. Me, I did it totally and completely solo. And when you finish 26.2 miles, there's absolutely nobody there to congratulate you. No one cheering you along the way. Not that that's the only reason you do it for, but it's definitely, in my opinion, not the same. So that is my one and only virtual. And then now it's time. It's continued. Live racing is back. And of course, they have guidelines and everything. And I wanted to complete the medal. Well, finding out that they decided to change the medal this year. So that medal will not be completed. And, years in the past, I would have been very, very upset. But now, after going through what we went through with the pandemic and just me not even quite sure if I was going to get here this year, I'm just very happy to be here, feel blessed. And I'm just so happy that I could take part in a live race here in Sedona. And to me, everything else is not that important. I'm just happy that my family, my friends, my loved ones all have good health, and that's pretty much what is truly important. Everything else, it's good to be competitive. It's good to have drive. It's good to want to, fulfill your goals. And even though, technically, the medal won't be completed, so I won't chalk that off in a way. This is what, 5 years straight now I'm running Sedona, and I'm just grateful for that. So my race is this Saturday. I will be running the half marathon. I came here yesterday on Thursday, and that's why there was no athletic definition. So thank you, everybody, for understanding. All right, so the half marathon is 13.1 miles. For those of you who don't know what a half marathon is. And so I came in early, and as soon as I got here, I pretty much hit the trails. I wanted to explore. And let me tell you, I came this time on the train, and then I took a shuttle. And I called the Sedona City of Commerce and our chambers, and I asked them if I can get to trails, like just within walking distance. And they told me no. And I got to say, they are completely wrong. If you know the trails, if you know the back trails, if you know the ones that aren't the most popular, you can get to majority of the trails. So yesterday, I explored a new trail called the Teacup Trail. And it's only about 1.5 miles. I explored a little bit of, it's called Sugarloaf. And then I ended up going to Soldier's Pass. Once I got there, I had never been to there, so I went to what's called the 7 Sacred Pools, which it's just breathtaking. Pictures just don't do it justice. After that, here, let me show you a picture. That's the beginning. I think that is called Coffee Pot Mountain. And here is, and when I edit it, like I said, I'll be doing a little bit better job, but there's the 7 Sacred Pools. Here's a picture of me at the pool. One of them, because there actually is 7 and they go in a row. And I'm sure when it's raining, well, you don't really want to be hiking up here when it's raining, but after the rain, if you go, then I'm sure it's even more beautiful. It's another picture of hiking. And actually, while I was hiking this, there's some really, really beautiful homes on the bottom, like mansions, $1 million homes. First of all, Sedona's pretty expensive. It's a small city, about 5,000 people. And what I was trying to do is I read about a cave, the Soldier's Pass Cave. So I was trying to get there. I thought I was going the wrong way, so I turned back. And then I made the mistake of listening to some people, and they led me the wrong way. Then I met some other people, and they were looking for it too, so I kind of went with them. Well, we ended up on top of the cave. So yesterday, I never actually got to find I found the cave, but from the top view. So this is looking down into the cave, and my goal is to go back and actually find the cave. From there, I learned that if I keep walking, I can hit a Devil's Bridge, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, pictures, and a couple more. So The only problem is you're supposed to kind of take it easy when you're going to run a half marathon. So I'm trying to take it easy today. I did about 5 hours of hiking yesterday. Not about, I did 5 hours of hiking, and I did 10 miles. So to have my legs fresh for tomorrow, um, I would want to avoid hiking. Although when you're only here for so long, you want to take advantage. So that is the difficult part. In the past, even after marathons, you would see me hiking that day or the very next day, because it's just so beautiful here. You want to make sure you take advantage of it all. And since I'm kind of talking about Sedona, I wanted to kind of include a couple tips, and I'm going to do more videos on this. I have a lot of footage. I've been recording it with my GoPro for the last 5 years. So, but I do want to mention some things, and really these tips, you can pretty much use them anywhere, not just Sedona. But one of the things here that is, it can get cold and hot. So what you want to do is you don't just want to go with a really heavy jacket, in my opinion. You want to take something light, kind of like this. This is a weatherproof jacket. It is really, although it looks really big right here, this is really light. It is foldable. Actually, I dropped it, so give me 1 second. All right, so this is the pouch where the jacket fits. And so you can actually fold it up pretty nice, stick it in your backpack, and then begin your hike. That way you don't have to worry about it. Okay, well, if it rains, that's a different story, but it'll kind of keep you dry for as much as possible. It's not like I've gone hiking in Sedona in the rain like 3 years ago, so it protects you somewhat. That's really more for light rain, and it's a windbreaker. So I highly recommend you have a jacket. You just don't go out like that. The other thing is water. Water, especially when you're hiking in a place so beautiful like Sedona. You may get a little excited and want to walk further than maybe you typically have. So I have a backpack, and the backpack, you can fill this up. It's water. And so it makes it very convenient for you to be able to go hiking, have a backpack on your back. That's something that if you're not used to, you're going to have to get used to hiking with a backpack. It's here's the backpack I have, and then the leader goes back here. So it could be extra weight, and that's something that if you're not prepared for, you want to prepare for. The other thing is, it depends where you go hiking. Maybe there won't be water, or maybe you run out of water. Maybe you get injured. So you want to be prepared for all scenarios. I have this little kit right here. It's basically so that if anything happens and I need water, I can filter water and I can drink it. Luckily, I haven't had to use it, but it's always better to be prepared. Even though you really have to be careful before you start a fire, and a lot of places it could definitely be illegal. But I'm just talking about for emergency purposes. You get hurt, maybe you get attacked by an animal, you fall down, you're alive, and now you're somewhere where it's cold. How are you gonna keep warm if you don't? That jacket may not be enough for the whole night, especially right now. I think it was like 30 degrees, which depending, but just think about it. When it's windy, it was like 20 to 30 miles wind. You get colder, and always in the mountains, it's a lot colder than in the city. So I always carry a lighter with me for emergency purposes. And these are just basic hiking tips. I'll get into more detail. I just wanted to do a show, let everybody know athletic definition is still strong, and we're still here. I didn't really plan anything, and I just kind of wanted to do it short notice. Today I'm going to decide how many miles I'm going to do. I'm going to go explore mountain, I think it's called mountain something, and it's about 3 miles, and I'm going to finish the Sugarloaf, which would be maybe another 2 miles. And so then I'll do 5 miles today hiking. That way I can still explore, take it easy, and then tomorrow will be the race. I have to pick up my bib number later today too. So today's kind of like my easy day. What I did notice is that while I was hiking Soldiers Pass, I had really, really good reception up there. In fact, I've never had such good reception in any other mountains that I've hiked. And so I thought about it. Maybe maybe I'll do a short little show here on Fireside so you guys can see these spectacular views, because typically when you are somewhere where you are really, like, I was on top of that mountain, and I met some people, and I was running back down or coming back down. They're like, "Did you make it? Did you find it?" I told them no. I'm like, "I made it to the top." They're like, "Oh, that was you on top?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." They're like, "We seen someone on top." So uh, I definitely plan to go back. I will be here till Monday, and so I think so far my favorite trail here is Cathedral Rock. There's no way that I could come here and not go see those views. So I'm gonna go to Cathedral Rock again. I just love it. There's no way you can come here, but I've been to pretty much all the major ones and all the unknown ones. So I have footage, and I'll be bringing you more information on my opinion on those as well. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining me here live on Fireside and on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. Everybody who shows us support on the podcast, definitely appreciate you. If you have a chance to come to Sedona, Arizona, right here, I highly, highly recommend it. It is such a beautiful place, and the pictures and footage don't do it any justice. And I got a GoPro Max, which shoots 360, and my plan is to go and record Cathedral Rock in 360. So we'll see how that goes. See if I brought everything kind of rushed, but just wanted to say thank you for joining me. I appreciate the support. And I will update you guys with how it went on the race and give you more details, and hopefully have a fancy new bling medal I can show you for next week. So once again, thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for the continued support on Athletic Definition. Next week, we should be back to regular programming with all new guests, so I'll keep you guys updated. Make sure to follow me here on Fireside and on all my other social media platforms. If you find this show entertaining, helpful, please share it, give it a review, a thumbs up. We all know us creators need that for the algorithms. So once again, thank you. I brought out my podcast stuff here because I knew I wanted to do a show live from Arizona. So I have two mics. This one I used to have for DJing, and then I have the Rode that I bought just for podcasting. So this is actually my first time using this mic for DJing, and it's funny because you would think that, Ray has a live podcast and it's, simulcast everywhere, that I'm such a talker. The whole time I DJ'd, I never really talked on the mic. I think I made a couple announcements like, hey, there's more food, or, the bride's ready to cut the cake, or something like that. But such an introvert, I would never talk during the whole events. If anybody wanted to use the microphone, I'd be like, here's the mic. But I never use this to talk as much as I am now. So it just goes to show you what you can do, and how even if you are a certain way, you can learn and get better just by practicing. So thank you, everybody, for joining Athletic Definition. My name is Coach Ray Z, and I will see you next week. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I appreciate the love and support.